Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Turn 3 Racing Network's coverage of the North-South Racing League in season number 3. Getting ready to roll on out, and we are proud to welcome back the late model stock car series presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. Mortensen Auto Repair, bumper to bumper network to provide comprehensive auto services on basic maintenance and complex repairs. Kyle and his team provide efficient, kind, and reasonably priced services to residents in the Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and surrounding communities. Give them a call today at 608-455-3621 to schedule an appointment today. RC2 Graphic Solutions, your events, our designs. ZooFab Garage, SimRacerHub.com, Arbor Systems, J&D Farms, and Mad Plowing, all presenting sponsors of this season's 2026 Late Model Stock Series. And don't you all worry out there, we brought along the best co-announcer anyone could ask for, Mr. Kelly Dahl. Kelly, I know you're a little bit under the weather, but we trekked west. Not too far of a trip for you.
Yeah, it's a little ways south for me here at the Irwindale Speedway, a track that has unfortunately been closed in the past couple of years. Irwindale puts on some fantastic racing, though, here in the late model stocks. We're going to see some great racing, of course, because these drivers are going to be ripping up along the wall and diving all the way down onto the apron using every single inch of paved surface on this track.
Yeah, this racetrack is going to provide a lot of great side-by-side action. Late model stock racing at its best. We have 21 drivers signed in for the season opener here at Irwindale. And just like that, we are getting ready to head into tonight's Al Speed Shop qualifying for the Fast Time Award to see who will grab that first one here this evening. As cars make their way up onto the racetrack, let's get you down here and see the first car up onto the racetrack. And Kelly's going to be fast and furious qualifying here this evening.
Yeah, very quick qualifying. The fastest lap was an 18.009 in practice. Let's see what these drivers will be able to do here in qualifying. Got a couple drivers up on the racetrack. Gary Eschen in that number 23 machine. I think he's going to be the first one to set a time here in this new season. So let's keep an eye on that 23 car, see what he can do here as he comes off of turn 4. Our first lap time of the season will be an 18.456, and then Josh Cole immediately beat that with an 18.401.
So Josh Cole going to the top of the board. So the 23 of Gary Eschen goes there quickest so far. Brandon Atkinson in the 72. Going to go second quick so far. How about this driver, the 36, Brian Schroyer in the snap-on number 36. Schroyer running in the first 3 seasons with us.
A lot of drivers putting in times right now at the moment. The cutoff for the top 8 redraws, Chad Macleod with 18.313. So if a driver wants a chance at starting up at the front, that is the time that they need to beat here so far. Still have Brian Schroyer coming across the line here. What is his second lap time going to be? I did not see an update on that, so I don't know if his 18.599 is going to be the one to stand here. Scott Austin now coming across the line for his first lap. We'll see what that number 5 can do. This first lap may be a little slower as he gets some tire temperature in his tires. It's going to be only an 18.427. Let's see what he can do on his second lap.
Austin down to the bottom of turns 3 and 4 and up to the other, and the finish line number 5. Austin looking to go top of the board. Quick time 18.138. 18.138 for Scott Austin.
Yeah, those times are practically tied here in the timing and scoring, and in sim they're showing slightly different, but in sim it is showing both those drivers as an 18.139, so it is going down to that 4th digit between Scott Austin and Gary Eschen. And that now moves our cut line is going to be Adam Gable sitting there in 8th right now immediately getting bumped by Rodney Huntoon, who goes a little faster. So now it's Rob Donaldson. We're holding an 18.289 for the cut line for the the top 8.
Going 5th quick, Scott Negus, as we watch the number 90 of Dylan Connor. Lap number 1 for Connor. Only good enough for 14th overall. He'll swing down to the inside of 3 and 4. Up. And there is Bryan Hacker goes quick time. Connor, can he go quick time? He does. Quick time for the number 90 of Dylan Connor. 18.123. 18.123 for Dylan Connor.
A couple drivers left to set a time, and just over a minute left for those drivers to do so. Robbie Clavey, the only driver of those 3 out on the racetrack right now, coming across for his first lap. It is an 18.728. Still getting up to speed. We're seeing the drivers putting down their faster times in that second lap once they get some heat in those tires.
Clavey down to the inside, and that RC2 Graphics Solution 73 comes across. And Robbie Clavey going to jump to 16th overall with a 1.8337. And right now we're looking for Dan Janjanin and Dante Curtis to make some times. 21 drivers locked in here tonight. Everyone will start tonight's feature, Kelly. But we'll have our redraw back, part of the program, one of our favorite parts of the program. And we hope you enjoy that out there as well. As the track goes quiet, and it looks like Dylan Connor might pick up the first fast time of the year here tonight at Irwindale for the SoCal Showdown 175 lap main event coming up for you next. I believe we will not have an LCQ here tonight, if I am correct, Kelly.
I don't think we have enough drivers to get an LCQ, so we should move along right to our warm-up, and yes, that is what we're going to do. So let's get our drivers sorted here. Get everyone together for our first top 8 redraw of the season.
First top 8 redraw of the season, and it is going to be a good one for J&D Farms. It's not your average sponsors, the brainchild of a self-proclaimed redneck here on iRacing, and they take and love the North-South Racing League, and this is what it will look like here tonight. So whether you pull that number 1 or pull the dreaded number 8, it's all thanks to J&D Farms, supporting racing, supporting the show, and an official legend of the North-South Racing League, Kelly, as we get ready to go here tonight with our redraw. Got some fancy buttons that are malfunctioning here. Well, we got a second. Let's take a moment real quick, Kelly.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
And welcome back as we get ready to go with tonight's redraw. We'll kick it off with the fastest man in Irwindale, the driver of that number 90. That would be Dylan Connor. And Dylan Connor coming out of the gate swinging pretty hard here early on. What's it going to take to stay up front here tonight as we kick off the season?
Yes, sir. I think it's going to be a big tire-saving race here. I think after a while, the right front's going to be a big factor at the end of the race, especially with the longer race, 175 laps.
It definitely is going to be a long race here tonight. What do you think we're going to expect? I think there's a lot of side-by-side racing. This track seems very wide and a lot of different grooves.
I think early part of runs, like right after restarts and stuff like that, I think guys are going to be aggressive to try and get track position, because I think after the tires wear off, it's going to be very hard to make passes here. It kind of single files out to the high side.
All right, sir. Well, you know the drill. Thank courtesy of J&D Farms with the top 8 redraw. 1 through 8, what number would you like?
I'm going to try number 4.
Number 4. 4 comes off the board, and I believe that will be the pole for Dylan Connor. Grabbing that number 1 spot already. Going to be able to lead the field to the green flag.
That's one good way to start and kick off the season. I just want to give a shout out to the sponsors of the league, Mortensen Auto Repair and Harbor Systems for helping get this show on the road, and hopefully have a good season.
Absolutely, sir. Best of luck here to you tonight, Dylan, and thank you guys so much for putting on some of the best racing that we see all season long.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dylan Connor, fast time in qualifying. Kelly going to start pole here tonight.
Yeah, we're going to move right along here to another one of our drivers. It's going to be the driver of the number 2, Bryan Hacker. Bryan, I know you've been looking forward to these cars. Are you excited to finally be back in the late model stocks?
Yeah, I am, definitely. Something back closer to our roots a little bit, and something I'm definitely more comfortable in than the ARCA car.
All right, well, the number 4 has been taken, which unfortunately for you was the pole. But other than that, what are your options between 1 to 8? What would you like?
Let's go 6.
Al, did you leak this?
I did not.
Number
6.
6 comes off the board, and Bryan Hacker will be starting second. So our first 2 drivers taking the first 2 starting spots, and I don't know the odds of that. I didn't take statistics in school, but that's wild to me.
That is very wild.
All right, well, Bryan, well, second place starting spot. You think you can get it done from there tonight?
Yeah, I think you can get it done from pretty much anywhere. It's a long race and an interesting track with a lot of lanes, so it should be fun.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us. Hopefully we'll be hearing from you later.
Hope so. Thanks, guys.
All right, so Bryan Hacker will draw second place, and right off the bat, our first row is already locked out.
I feel like, Kelly, that maybe you leaked it.
I didn't post anything.
All right, we'll catch up next with the driver that qualified 3rd overall. As we look at that, it's going to be the driver of the number 5, Scott Austin, and that finish line number 5. Scott, you ran well in the ARCA Series 1 season ago. Now we're back into a little bit more familiar territory for you guys, and you come out swinging with a nice 3rd place qualifying effort. What's it going to take to relay that into a good result here tonight?
Well, it starts now with a good redraw. I'm glad to be up front. I think the late models brought a few more fast guys out of the woodwork, so we got our competition ahead of us, and glad to be starting towards the front.
Well, sir, the numbers 4 and the number 6 have been taken so far. The front row is gone, but every other spot is still available. Where would you like to go here tonight?
I'll bet on number 5.
Number 5 and number 5 coming off the board, and that will be inside row number 4, starting P number 7 for number 5. Can you get it done from there?
We're going to try.
All right, Scott. Well, thank you for your time, buddy. Have the best of luck, and we hopefully be talking to you here in tonight's post-race show.
Thanks, you guys. Have a good night.
All right, Scott Austin going to roll off P number 7 and break in the spell, Kelly. So, phew, we're off the hook for that one.
All right, well, we're going to have to keep moving along here. So right after Scott Austin, we've got the driver of the number 23, Gary Eschen. Gary, welcome to the top 8 redraw here at Irwindale. What are you expecting out of this track tonight?
I'm not really sure. It's not one of my better tracks, that's for sure.
All right, well, for numbers left, we have 1, 2, 3, 7, and 8. What would you like?
Let's go number 3.
Taking number 3 off the board, and it's going to be outside of row 2. It is a 4th place starting spot for you tonight. How are you liking that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good spot. I think the outside will roll at first, so hopefully we can maintain our way up front and stay up there all night.
It is a track that very much favors the outside, but it has got a long ways down to the bottom there, especially in 3 and 4. So let's see if you can rip that top lane, and maybe you'll be talking to us a little bit later on tonight. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
So Gary Eschen will be drawing P number 4 here, starting right where he qualified.
Absolutely. Moving right along here to qualifier number 5, the driver out of Canada, JJ McRae, back with the North-South Racing League. This time to try her hand with the late model stock cars presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. And JJ, nice qualifying effort inside the top 5, making it into the redraw. What number would you like? We have 4, 6, 5, and 3 that have been chosen. All the other numbers are still available.
I'll take 7, please.
Number 7 coming off the board. That's going to be inside row number 3, starting P5. So you get the easy job. You get to just roll off.
Yeah, easy enough. Sounds good to me.
What's going to take to put this number 77 in victory lane here tonight?
Probably a little bit of tire conservation at first. This plays pretty hard on tires, so try and save a little and then try and work our way back up through. Hopefully we can get some good green flag runs in.
All right, sir. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you for your time, and we'll hopefully talk to you at the end of this one.
Yeah, sounds good.
JJ McRae going to roll off P number 5, Kelly.
And we'll be catching up now with our next driver here, Brandon Elvis. And Brandon, what kind of excitement do you think this new season holds for you?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm pretty bad here at Irwindale. Probably my least successful track here on the sim. I think it'll be a fun season though, man. There's a lot of good guys in here. We'll say the same crowd I ran with last time when I ran a Street Stock series. So if it goes like it did then, which I think it will, it should be a good fun season.
All right, well, you may not be the best at this track, but you're still good enough to get into the top 8 redraw, and there's 3 numbers left for you. You got 1, 2, and 8.
Oh, let's go with the 2.
Number 2 coming off the board, and it is going to be inside of row 2, P3, so you're moving up a little bit. How do you like that spot for tonight?
I like it. Maybe we can keep the trap position and hang up these boys towards the end of this race.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on tonight, Brandon. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so just 2 drivers left here, Alan. We'll be ready to go for our first race of the season.
Absolutely. Hurrying it along, we'll talk to another driver that hails out of Canada, the Blue Oval Racing, number 55 of Scott Negus. And Scott, welcome back to the top 8 redraw in a late model stock division. We'll get the picking done real quick. We have the number 1 or the number 8 left to choose. What number would you like?
Might as well go for 1.
All right, number 1 coming off the board, and that's going to put you outside row number 4 in P number 8. Can you get it done from there?
I'm just going to try to keep her cool tonight and see how the first week goes.
Sounds like a plan, my friend. We hopefully will be talking to you at the end of this. It was always a pleasure, as always. Sorry, it's a little bit rushed here tonight as we get through some of the gremlins here. But best of luck here, and we watch this number 55 hopefully go to the front.
Thanks, buddy.
Scott Negus going to roll off in spot number 8, Kelly, and that means our final person, Braiden Campbell, will roll off in spot number 6, and I believe you'll tell him the good news.
I got to catch up now with Braiden Campbell, and Braiden will get it right out of the way quickly here since we're about to go to the grid. You'll be starting in P6 here tonight, and how do you like that spot here to start the season off?
I like it. I think the outside is going to be the key here, so we'll take that starting spot.
Yeah, you think everyone's going to be ripping along the top side? Well, we'll see if you make any dives towards the bottom. We'll let you go, get ready to grid up here, and good luck to you tonight.
Thanks, guys.
So that was Braiden Campbell. He'll be rolling off in P6 tonight, and that will do it for our J&D Farms top 8 redraw. And we're going to get ready to go to the grid for our first race of the season.
Hard to believe to kick off this 10-race season right here at Irwindale, and we hope you strapped yourself in, get yourself some popcorn, as that was our J&D Farms top 8 redraw. And we thank J&D Farms for being our presenting sponsor of that once again. But Kelly, it is time for tonight's starting lineup. And it looks like this. On tonight's poll, in car number 90, it is going to be Dylan Connor. Outside of him, in car number 2, it'll be the driver out of Huntley, Illinois, Bryan Hacker. Scott Austin, or Brandon Elvis, will roll off third, and outside of him, car number 23, that will be Gary Eschen. J.J. McCrae and Braiden Campbell will roll off in P5 and 6. And rounding out your top 8 redraw drivers, the number 5 of Scott Austin and the 55 of Scott Negus. Rodney Huntoon, Brandon Atkinson will roll off in row 9 and 10 with Rob Donaldson and Adam Gable, your first 6 rows.
We have Justin Coleman. We're going to be rolling off in 13th, 14th. We'll see the 93 of Chad MacLeod. Chuck Sweeting will roll off in 15th. 16th sees the 73 of Robbie Clavey. Josh Cole will be on the inside of row 9 with the 20 of Justin MacDuff to his outside. Brian Troyer rolls off in 19th. Dante Curtis will be starting in 20th. And rounding out our 21-car field will be the 02 of Dan Janjanin.
That'll be it for tonight's overlay here at the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Division. We want to thank everybody for tuning on in. It's going to be a great night of racing. We hope you strapped in here for that. Predictions, Kelly. I think absolute line chaos. I think we're going to see some of the best racing we have seen to date in the North-South Racing League with a star-studded stacked field, all tuned up for the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Series, and we are green.
Dylan Connor getting a good start. We're right alongside him as Bryan Hacker. All these cars going to be trying to fight along that high side for space. Dylan Connor going to slide up in front of the 2 and look at... sorry, I'm getting used to the new car counts here. I thought that was Scott Austin for a moment. It's actually Brandon Elvis right there on the bottom, trying to roll the bottom side, get past Bryan Hacker. Not quite able to get there. Gary Eschen now taking that space on the high side. And like a lot of these drivers predicted, that high side rolling well. Elvis going to close off Eschen. And Elvis going to go into the wall. Shades of Alex Pillow at Phoenix this past weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of right front damage on that number 54 car. You got to wonder if it's going to hurt the advances of the 23 of Gary Eschen as well, as they work there. It's right there behind them, side by side. That it will be the 33 of Campbell, or that's Huntoon, excuse me, to battle for the 9th position. Huntoon on the inside. He's got the 55 of Negus rolls the outside. How about Brandon Atkinson, a rookie this season, rolls the outside in car number 72. Atkinson, no stranger to the short track ranks. He'll work it around the outside, and he's got the 41 there right behind him as well of Coleman. Coleman in that red and blue car. Some new faces here to start the late model stock season off, and they are mixing it up with some of these North-South Racing League veterans. Is Rob Donaldson to the inside, and we're already seeing drivers down on that very extreme low side, not seeming to pay off just yet.
Yeah, J.J. McCrae tried to take over 5th place by going all the way down there to the grass, and That's the line we're expecting to see a few times here tonight through 3 and 4. Did not quite work out for him. He could not get clear of the 33 of Braiden Campbell. He's still holding an inside line pretty well, even though that outside is faster and a bit more dominant. He's still able to carry enough pace to keep him alongside the 33, but that time coming off of turn 2, a little bit of an advantage to the 33 of Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell working that outside line so far to his best there. Scott Austin up to the 7th spot as he tries to fill that hole, and he will get alongside. So Austin trying to make his way towards the front here tonight as they all settle themselves out. 3 wide behind them is, I believe, Rob Donaldson part of that battle. The 0-9 of Josh Cole back there, and Dante Curtis in the 0-3. Oh, as Donaldson goes around, catches the 0-3, and our first yellow flag of the evening comes out as Donaldson goes around Robbie Clavey down to the inside of the racetrack, I believe, just to try to avoid making contact. But Rob Donaldson, Dan Janjanin involved in our first yellow flag of the evening. And let's take a look here and see if we're able to take and see what happened. The truck says they got it. It all happened down in turns 1 and 2. Josh Cole to the inside of that 0-0. They were 3 wide, and it looks like Cole just got a little bit tight, Kelly, and up around he goes. And, some hard contact. Did not see Robbie Clavey make that hard of a contact with him. Let's watch it one more time. We'll go on board with Robbie Clavey. And that was some hard contact for the RC2 Graphic Solutions cars. He is down on pit road.
Yeah, it sounded like he ripped the right front out of it there. And that may be an end of the night for Robbie Clavey. Looks like we have another taker on pit road. Appears Adam Gable coming down pit road here. These drivers have unlimited sets of tires, so you can take tires as much as they want. Looks like Gable took some right sides possibly and just topped up the fuel tank and is now coming back out.
He'll come back off of pit road after making his last chance fuel pit stop. The proud sponsor of our pit stops tonight are powered by Last Chance Fuel. So Last Chance Fuel coming on board. Thank them for being our pit sponsor. Looks like the field doubling up as they've worked around to get through the Mad Plowing restart. Choose cone. Mad Plowing spring is coming. Kelly, do you got it lined up? Mad Plowing is your go-to place for all of your landscaping and plowing needs. We're not out of the woods yet up here in the Northeast, but Mad Plowing is your go-to landscape company in the Oregon-Wisconsin area, specializing in snow removal and mowing surfaces all summer long. Whether it's cleaning your driveway or keeping the lawn pristine, they've got you covered. Give them a call at 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping needs.
Well, we're needing just another lap here to get these cars sorted out. Dylan Connor still holding on the race lead. Pace car now down to the safety of pit road. And once again, it'll be Connor and Hacker leading the cars to green, but just swapped in their positions inside and out. Connor waiting for his opportunity here in the restart zone. Now he's going to fire off of turn 4. And Bryan Hacker has to wait until the start-finish line before he can change lanes. That's going to provide an opportunity for Brandon Elvis to move up into the high side. Hacker now going to go to the bottom to defend, so he's going to slide up in front of Brandon Elvis. Elvis going to elect to stay right behind him as a couple of cars get into the wall. Looks like Eschen, and I think that was the 72 of Atkinson as well, both riding the wall through 3 and 4, costing them both a little bit of time. Hopefully not too much damage on those race cars, though.
Yeah, Gary Eschen going to try to peek the nose to the outside here, trying to make it there as they're on board with the driver of the 23, Gary Eschen. Currently in that 5th position, trying to fend it off from the outside. As looks like we are back underneath the yellow flag. Not quite sure what that one's for, Kelly. Maybe some debris on the racetrack.
Now is Adam Gable getting into the 72 of Atkinson going into turn 1.
Adam Gable going to go to the back of the field. Let's take a look here. Down in the corner, and just two cars going for the same real estate. And usually ends up like that when you make contact that hard.
Yeah, he was able to straighten that car out almost immediately, though, so hopefully he does not have too much damage. Looks like there's a little bit to the left front of that 72 car, so he is going to stay out on the track. Hopefully that car will not be affecting him too much. It is a long race. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to come down pit road and hammer out a little bit of damage. We've seen a couple of drivers already come down and do so, and a few coming down again here. So Curtis, Chad McLeod, Rodney Huntoon, Sweeting, all coming down pit road.
Yeah, I like this call, Kelly, because at some point we are going to get a long green flag. Around 175 laps of action here tonight as these drivers are on pit road for their last chance fuel pit stops. So they all get those cars there. Rodney Huntoon. Good to see Huntoon back out here. I know if you were with us last season, Huntoon had some speed in those Grand National stock cars, just lady luck not on his side as we come off of turn number 4, and I believe he'll be doing the choosing. You see Bryan Hacker choosing to go all the way down to the inside there for our Mad Plowing choose cone. Unique here, first time watching the North-South Racing League. They have live admins. Sometimes Kelly gets tapped in to do that. But they can have that where you can choose the choose cone, where you can choose some spots. So good chance to potentially move up the grid there. You see the inside line. I think that's going to be a theme here tonight, Kelly. Would you agree with me? That inside lane is going to be a little bit shorter than that outside lane all night long.
Yeah, the outside is definitely the lane where these drivers are wanting to be, but guys like Bryan Hacker are confident that they can hold on to second place at least by going to the bottom. And a few guys, if they see how short that inside line is, it might as well just roll the dice and see if they can get themselves into the high side at better spot than they would have been if they had stayed there on the restart. But pace car now down to the safety of pit road, and we're ready to get back going to green.
Into the restart zone, and a late start for Connor. That allows Elvis to get to the outside. Here comes a 23 down there as well. How about Scott Austin into the top 5 as they work up off of turn number 2. Down the back stretch, it looked like that would have been the 33 of Campbell scraping the outside wall. Bryan Hacker not done yet, fighting back to the inside of Elvis. That's the battle for the number 2 spot. Side by side off the turn number 2 and quickly back into the yellow flag presented by Mad Plowing.
I think that one was a missed button press I'm hearing over the radio. They were trying to clear the black flags, and unfortunately a caution was thrown instead. So get these guys sorted back out. Thankfully no one was given a black flag, and we'll get back on under racing here.
Yeah, we will. Some drivers that we haven't talked about here tonight. Adam Gable, we've talked about him. Unfortunately, Robbie Clavey down on the last chance pit road, and he had some extensive right front damage. How about Dante Curtis joining us? Saw him moonlight a couple times in the Grand National Stock Series. If you were with us with the Street Stock Division, Dante Curtis and Bryan Hacker put on a heck of a show week in and week out. Brian Troyer in that 36 car back with us. Josh Cole and the number 20 of Justin MacDuff. Good to see MacDuff back out on the racetrack with the North-South Racing League. Right there in front of him. How about Chuck Sweeting? Chuck, if you're normal here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, Sweeting runs a couple leagues that are broadcasted here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Justin Coleman, a new racer this season with the North-South Racing League. Rob Donaldson in the 00. Brandon Atkinson, the Coastal number 72. Some familiar names and some new faces, Kelly. That's what we like to see here to start off this 2026 Mortensen Auto Repair late model stock season.
Yeah, we're going to get hopefully back onto racing here shortly. One more lap around to get these guys sorted out, get them all closed back up. And the pace truck is now going to go back down into pit road.
So we saw an early start from Connor. We've seen a late start from Connor. Where does he go this time? Into the restart zone, right to the end, and away we go once again. A little bit better of a start that time. Connor jumps out to about a car length lead. The battle is for second. Wheel to wheel off of turn number 2. Elvis with a good run to the outside. Scott Austin trying to clear the 23 of Gary Eschen. Eschen unable is there on the right rear quarter panel. So 2 rows of 2x2 as they all chase Dylan Connor from the front row here tonight. Working lap 30 of 175 here for the SoCal Showdown. Race number 1 for the late model stock season as Bryan Hacker will take that sole possession from Elvis off of turn number 4.
Oh, a little bit of contact there between Eschen and Austin. Looked like going through 1 and 2. Those drivers still wheel to wheel, battling it out for 4th place. Scott Austin trying to see if he can work that bottom side. Eschen had a good run on the high side, but had to check up as he actually got into the rear bumper of Brandon Elvis. And now Scott Austin able to slot in right behind the 23, as now he's just going to sit there and watch, see if Eschen is going to make a move. Most of the drivers single file. You got to go back to Janjanin to find their first car, trying to work that bottom side. Just behind him, nearly 3 wide between Atkinson, Cole, and Huntoon.
And Huntoon has come down pit road, remember. He's got some fresh rubbers on there. Same with the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. So we're going to see those drivers able to make some more aggressive moves than some of these drivers with the less fresher rubber on these late model stock cars. And these cars are a lot of fun to drive. We got a lot of laps in them as they work around the Irwindale Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks, Kelly, and we're seeing why. The multiple grooves of racing, and it really is going to take a long green flag run where I really start to think you see these drivers come off that outside wall searching for some grip.
Yeah, the outside line will eventually heat up and maybe provide a little bit less grip, like you mentioned, and that may allow that bottom side. We've seen a few drivers make that big dive, especially in 3 and 4, all the way to the grass, and hopefully that'll become a little bit more effective as the night goes on. It kind of reminds me of a big dirt racing slide job there, as they go way off into the bottom and slide up in front of that guy that's trying to get the run on the high side. But Dylan Connor still cannot quite get away from Bryan Hacker. Hacker staying right on top of him. And then there's a small gap to Elvis and Eschen, who are battling nose to tail. And then you also see right behind them Austin and Campbell going right at it. As we have to look back a little bit, 3 wide once again. And it is going to be Josh Cole involved again with Brandon Atkinson and Dante Curtis that time.
And Curtis's right side door pin a little bit wrinkled up there as he works the bottom of the side underneath Coleman. Move Curtis up to the 12th spot as he's looking to become our first hard charger of the season. Long ways left to go in this one as everyone's starting to mind their P's and Q's a little bit as Curtis still works to the inside. Rodney Huntoon migrating back to the outside. And that number 12 car, the GMRC entry, Dante Curtis down to the inside, still battling side by side where they come off of turn number 2. That momentum on the outside, though, is going to carry Atkinson into the top 10. Josh Cole now knocking on the right rear quarter panel of that 03 of Curtis. Can't quite get there just yet. Curtis tries to squeeze him up, but Cole A little bit too quick there. Maybe has a hole this time off the corner. Not quite yet. As they work down here in the turns 3 and 4. And this track starting to get wide. Kelly and Justin MacDuff back there. He just worked around the 93 of Chad Macleod. So that's a good battle. Is now that battle with Huntoon. 3 wide as Josh Cole goes up the racetrack.
Cars scrambling all over the place, looking for a place to get through as there's been some battles towards the front of the field. Hacker's taking a few peeks at Dylan Connor, and Gary Eschen has been trying to get around Brandon Elvis. He's thrown it down to the inside a couple of times, but has not quite been able to get clear just yet. And watching Hacker, he's running through the corners a little bit lower than Dylan Connor. It's like he is just trying to see if he can get his nose in there to try to make that move. Elvis still trying to hold off Eschen here as he come down the back straight into turn 3. Eschen not going to make that dive down to the bottom this time, as a couple laps ago he did make that attempt, even got his left sides into the grass, and I think that's what cost him there as he had to slow up a little bit. Just behind them though, Scott Negus making the move to the inside of Braiden Campbell. Campbell though running that high line is able to just roll off the top and hang on to that position for now, and now JJ McCrae is starting to poke his nose to the outside of Negus.
Looking at the battle there, Negus to the out, looking to the inside of the 33 at Campbell. You can see where your drivers stand so far. Dante Curtis up 9 spots so far here tonight as we close in on lap number 50 of tonight's 175 lap showdown, the SoCal Showdown, for race number 1 for the Mortensen Auto Repair late model stock division. And Negus down low, and looks like he's going to have to concede to the 75 of Sweeting. Sweeting worked into the outside. He's going to roll up against the outside retaining wall, and he's going to take that spot away from Negus off of turn number 2.
Negus not going to have a chance to make a move to the inside to counterattack. He's going to lose that spot, and 75 is just going to rocket off down the front straight. Behind them, though, Justin Coleman trying to make a move on Dante Curtis, looking to the inside, not going to get there. He's going to get to the high side, though, before Huntoon gets there. He's going to leave the door open. Huntoon is going to put himself in there. But Justin Coleman running the inside line well. He's going to get himself back up into the spot, back into line. And now Huntoon trying to hunt the bottom along with Josh Cole.
Yeah, it looks like from our vantage point up here, Kelly, in the tower, turns 3 and 4, that middle to lower middle lane seems to have some speed, where in turns 1 and 2 you want to keep it right up in that upper groove. So I think the passing chance...
Eschen turned around. Brandon Elvis just turned Eschen right around on the back straightaway, and I do not know where that came from, because those two drivers have been battling it out for the last few laps, but it seemed fairly clean. Looks like Eschen may have tagged him a little bit, got him high in 3 and 4, and then there was a bit of a returning of the favor.
Let's take a look back here and see if we can see it. And they came off the corner, and a little bit of left rear peekaboo, we'll call that, for the 23 of Gary Eschen, who will go around. So we'll see. It looks like Gary's going to be able to slot back into spot number 11. So we'll see what happens there. And we've got some takers coming down the last chance fuel pit row here at Irwindale. Elvis, the number 2 of Bryan Hacker, coming down with Scott Austin. Pretty much everybody in the field has come down pit road except for Dylan Connor and Justin Coleman. Can they make it on fuel with these yellows, Kelly, you think?
175 laps is a long way. I don't know if it can quite make it all that distance on fuel, and I think though the tires will not last that long. I mean, even though it is nighttime and a fairly cool track surface being only 80 degrees, you're still asking a lot from these tires, so we'll see what they can do and if they can hold on to these spots. But it is going to be Connor, then Coleman. Hacker going to be coming out in third place, leading the rest of the field that is going to be running on at least 2 fresh tires.
Yeah. Now, we do know that Irwindale historically is a track position race. So, you know, Connor up on the front of this one, having the, you know, clean air on the front of that number 90 car, able to keep the front air on the 90 car. Does that play a factor? You know, you have to stretch it as far as you can, you think, and then hopefully draw some drivers down with you when you have to come down pit roads. I believe this time off the corner, they will come in and do the mad plowing Reese pick.
Oh, I do not know what happened to Bryan Hacker, but it looks like he's being sent to the back. So I don't know if he maybe came out of the pits incorrectly, but he's now all the way to the back of the field.
And the field all jumbled up here coming into this restart. So not sure if we'll get a quickie yellow or what, but we're back under green, it looks like.
Yeah, so Dylan Connor going to lead Justin Coleman now into turn 1. And he's going to try to hold off 41. Those two drivers still the only 2 on the tires that they started with. JJ McRae now going to be the driver that's leading the all the guys that have fresh tires. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 77, see what he can do against the 90 and 41.
Okay, so your top 3 cars. Well, top 2 cars have not yet to come down at all, or this one. How about JJ McRae, like you were just talking, Kelly? A little bit fresher rubber on that car, and he's able to stay right there. How about Atkinson, the rookie, in 4th, and Josh Cole rounding out in that 5th spot currently. In trouble for the 0-3. He's gone pit side. Dante Curtis down on pit road, Kelly. Did you see what happens?
I have not seen what had happened to the 0-3. He has just elected to come down pit road, and yeah, he was just running towards the back of the field. I don't see him getting in contact with anyone. Just runs high, gets off the throttle, and brings it in.
So maybe something going awry back behind the scenes of the 0-3. The bracing is hot and heavy. Gary Eschen looking underneath the 0-9 of Cole, and that allows the 12 of Huntoon to fill the outside lane. There's they work trying to catch them as they work off of the corner. If you were some of these drivers that were up towards the front and you just came down pit road, like you got Bryan Hacker back at the back of the pack there, I'm assuming some kind of pitting penalty causing him to go down pit, you know, to the back of the field. At this juncture of the race, with a little over 90 laps to go, you kind of ride, just pick off when spots, you know, allow you to, or are you trying to push to try to get back to the front as fast as you can?
Right, it's a long race. You are going to want to try to get to the front whenever you can, but it's with how much time is left in this race, you can kind of just pick off the spots as they come to you. You don't really have to force the issue anywhere, but Bryan Hacker is already making that charge towards the front. He's already got himself up into 16th. And I'm trying to see what maybe had happened with him that could have caused the penalty, but I'm not really seeing anything, so don't know what the reason was for him being sent to the back of the field.
Watching Sweeting work the outside, trying his following Scott Austin in that number 5 car right in front of them. The racing is hot and heavy as Gary Eschen is in that 5th spot. Rodney Huntoon runs 6th, 7th spot. Josh Cole right behind them. The number 20 of Justin MacDuff and the 33 of Braiden Campbell. Campbell runs there, and Chad Macleod rounding out your top 10 in the 93 car. Having a good run. Up 4 spots so far for the driver of that 93. Josh Cole working that middle lane, trying to make something happen as Eschen down very low in 1 and 2. then runs the middle now in turns 3 and 4, trying to take that spot away from Atkinson, and he will move Eschen to spot number 4.
Rodney Huntoon now to the inside of the 72 of Atkinson. Atkinson going right up against the wall in 1 and 2, and he's going to have to stay up high here in 3 and 4. Josh Cole looking to get himself involved in this as well, looking to see if any sort of opportunity opens for him in that 09 machine, but nothing is there right now. He is forced to just sit and wait. But it is going to be Atkinson pulling ahead there on the high side. Now Josh Cole trying to see if he can move himself along the right side of the 12 of Huntoon. But Huntoon running that middle lane well through 3 and 4. That's going to bring him right up alongside the 72 once again.
And starting to see the line migrate a little bit with more speed down the racetrack as this race wears on here at the Irwindale Speedway. Race number 1 for the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Series, presented here for the North-South Racing League, season number 3 for the 2025 and 26 racing season. As we kick off with a little bit of short track action once again, the bread and butter of this league as Josh Cole takes a look to the inside under Huntoon, unable to do anything with him right then and there. They kind of single file it out as Connor and Coleman McRae have opened up a 2-second gap over Gary Eschen. Let's watch this battle a little bit deeper in the field. Scott Austin, he's trying to get there. 3 wide with Bryan Hacker down low. This is a hornet's nest back here from spots 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All those cars double file like they are pacing here under racing conditions.
Yeah, these drivers side by side like they're lined up to go to even start this thing, let alone run it here at over 100 miles an hour through the corners. Bit of a wiggle there on the outside looked like for Chad Macleod, but he's able to hold on to it just as well. Hacker now trying to take a look maybe at the inside of the 75. Does he want to go 3 wide with Sweeting?
Not that time there as he runs alongside the 91 of Adam Gable. Hacker with a little bit better tires than the drivers in front of him. He's going to work to the middle side as Gable has a little bit of an electrical issue. No harm, no foul. They are still 2 by 2. Bryan Hacker runs that middle lane trying to make some momentum. This time takes a peek low off of turn number 2. Keeps it in line, but Bryan Hacker boxed in as he starts to make his climb through the field. Already back to the 13th as Macleod now, he kisses the outside wall and the car stays underneath him for a little bit of right front damage as they are really mixing it up all over this racetrack.
Cars all over the place. It is going to be Chuck Sweeting that is going to move up into the position, slide himself up into that high side right in front of Chad Macleod. But now here comes Hacker on the bottom side. He's going to pull up even with the 75 now, so he's got himself clear of Macleod. Now he's trying to get himself up into the top 10. Just in front of them a little ways here, we've got Scott Austin taking a look to the inside of the 20 of Justin McDuff. Josh Cole still trying to move himself up as he had to just drop back behind Huntoon there. And now Scott Austin going to move to the inside of that 09. Meanwhile, Huntoon taking a look to the inside of Brandon Atkinson.
Now Huntoon with a good run going as he'll come off of turn number 4. It looks like the 72 of Atkinson got a little bit tight on corner exit, Kelly. We see a left front damage to that 72 car. Is that the difference maker with how that car is handling? Marble starting to grow up on the extreme high side as well. These drivers will have to be mindful of that as this long green flag run continues here as they work off of turn 2. Huntoon to the inside, Atkinson on the outside. Right there behind them, the 5 of Scott Austin is trying to figure out which lane to choose as they all chase Dylan Connor, who has led the first 82 laps here tonight of the Mortensen Auto Repair Southern Cal Showdown for the North-South Racing League. Atkinson able to pull back in front of Huntoon, but Huntoon with a good run that time off of 4. He's going to take that spot away momentarily. He drives it in deep in the turn number 1. Huntoon to the 5th spot.
Huntoon not quite clear though from Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson still trying to hold on to the high side, but Scott Austin is now closing in to his inside as well. Huntoon nearly clear of that 72. He's going to try to move himself up there, and now he is going to get himself into the high line. Scott Austin now going to be side by side with Atkinson going down the back straightaway. Just behind them, Justin MacDuff was able to get around Josh Cole, and now here comes Bryan Hacker trying to move himself up into the top 10. He has gotten past Braiden Campbell, and now he is looking to go after Josh Cole, and he is going to get right down underneath him.
And Bryan really running that middle to lower middle groove here tonight to make some hay from the back of the field after a miscue on pit road.
JJ McRae is going for the race lead. He's got those fresh tires. He's got around Justin Coleman, and he has got to the inside of Dylan Connor for these last couple laps here. He's trying to make the move for the lead, just cannot quite find a way to make it stick just yet.
Unable to do anything with that tilt load. Number 77 trying to make something happen. JJ McRae to the number 2 spot. Now draws a bead on your race leader who has led the first 87 laps. Well, we have our first lead change of the night coming up here. And Kelly, I got to start to wonder, though, the longer that this goes green, Dylan Connor, Justin Coleman are 2 drivers that have yet to come down pit road. They have not had to put any fuel on in those race cars. They've got to starting to be getting worried whether or not they're going to have to make green flag pit stops, which will be a dagger in any of their race hope here tonight.
Yeah, especially if it is under green, it would put them multiple laps down, and that would be a tough challenge to overcome here. I mean, we've seen Bryan Hacker having to crawl his way back from the very end of this field, and even after the last long green flag run, he's only been able to manage to get up to 8th so far. So being put down multiple laps, you'd have to hope for multiple cautions, a couple of lucky dogs, maybe even just a wave around from everyone else pitting, and just hope for some luck to fall your way before you can even try to crawl through the field.
McRae with a good run this time off turn number 2, gets some momentum within about a half a car length to the back bumper of the 90. Now trying to get to the outside. Can't make it happen that time off turn number 4 is Chad Macleod. He is getting past as Macleod has fallen out of the top 10, now back to the 7th spot. Change for your race lead though is Connor will have to come down pit road. Stumbles off of turn 2, Connor to pit road.
So that is going to be tough for Dylan Connor coming down pit road here. It is going to be a few laps down. We'll have to see how long he's going to have to be there on pit road. Now I have to watch Justin Coleman, see when he's going to have to come down and see what is going to happen to the 41 machine as JJ McRae takes over the race lead for now. And he has now been set loose here with fresh tires compared, or at least fresher compared to Justin Coleman. And he's going to try to open up that gap as Coleman now looking to the bottom. It looks like Coleman's coming down pit road.
Yeah, Coleman has to come down to put some last chance fuel into that 41 car. And just as that happens, the yellow flag comes out as Brandon Atkinson sits sideways on the back stretch, and he will pull the 72 immediately down to pit road. Oh, a dagger in the heart of 90 of Connor and the 41 of Coleman. Tough break here. Let's take a look and see what happened to bring out our yellow flag. Atkinson racing in front of Sweeting. And Sweeting has got to the corner and... Oh, the 90 was coming off pit road, Kelly, as the 72 was having to come to pit road. And they just made contact. And the 72 slides to a stop. And it looks like everybody going to come down pit road this time. So a few laps shy and the complexion of this race completely changing. I do believe Connor only down 1 lap to the race leader through all of that.
And he should get his lap back here because
he stayed out.
He'll get the wave around. Yeah, he will get the wave around, and then it'll actually as long as he didn't get too much damage from that, this will actually be a a good break for him.
I'm pretty amazed with the pit crew only going down one lap to the race leaders under green flag. That's some stellar entrance to pit road. Looks like Scott Austin has won the race off of pit road, so he will be our race leader. And that finish line, Austin Designs number 5.
Dylan Connor got the wave around. He will be back on the lead lap. That'll leave just Brandon Atkinson, the only car one lap down. I think the caution came out just at the right time for Justin Coleman because he stayed on the lead lap. He's actually sitting in 5th now. As we come to the choose cone, the Mad Plowing choose cone, and it looks like the first driver to try to take a look to the inside is going to be Josh Cole. Bryan Hacker, he is now found himself in 2nd place, so that caution worked out pretty well for him as well.
It did. Just when you thought things couldn't get jumbled up there, we had a long green flag run. Yellow flag comes out. We are getting ready to go back racing here at the Irwindale Speedway. Field into the restart zone. Green flag up, and we are back underway. And a good start by Austin and Hacker. They're going to clear Cole. Cole's going to be able to slot into that number 3 spot. JJ McRae, Adam Gable there are wheel-to-wheel into turn 3. Gary Eschen going to swing it down low. And this is where the racing's going to get hot and heavy right there. Look at Eschen down to the inside. Couldn't make anything happen that time off turn 4, but he gained a few spots here on this restart. He says he works around the 12 of Huntoon.
Now we have to wonder, will drivers be able to make it? If they have a couple cautions, they would likely be able to do so, but I think from here, if it goes green, it will be cutting it close. So we'll see if some drivers maybe try to save some fuel, run a little bit easier, but right now it looks like everyone is battling it out. Most cars are staying up on the high side, but Dan Janjanin there trying to work the bottom along with Chuck Sweeting and the 55 of Scott Negus. Justin MacDuff running alongside the 2 of Janjanin here as he tries to work the high side. Janjanin has an opening. He's going to not quite be clear, though. He cannot move up to the high side.
Couldn't quite make it that time off the corner. Here they come. Janjanin move himself to the 9th spot in car number 2. Sweeting and Elvis both in the outside. A little bit of bumper tag back there between Sweeting and MacDuff. Here comes the 55 of Scott Negus in that blue oval racing. Number 55 working the bottom side of the racetrack. 3 wide off of turn number 4 as Elvis tries to make something happen on the bottom side with the race leader of Connor already back in the spot number 13 as he's trying to work his way through the field. We saw Bryan Hacker do it. Took him some time. Now Hacker runs in spot number 2. After that last yellow flag of the races. Now Negus knocking on the inside of the number 20 of MacDuff. MacDuff runs in that 10th spot, trying to hold on to a top 10 as Negus wants it. He runs the middle of the racetrack off of turn number 4. Negus with a run to the inside. Sweeting right there as well. Some slight contact between the 20 and the 55. No harm, no foul as they work down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Negus still trying to work that second lane there as he tries to gives a little bit of a bump to the 20 of MacDuff. MacDuff now slotting into that high line. Just behind them, though, Dylan Connor trying to start his charge up towards the front. He's got alongside Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, Connor to the inside, trying to make it from the back of the field after getting the wave around. He's up to the 13th spot, looking for spot 12. You can see the damage to the right side of the 90 car that happened on his exit off of pit road. Keeping the car pointed in the right direction is now Connor will swing to the inside. Sweeting on the outside off of turn number 4. Sweeting with the momentum. He'll hold on to that spot as they work in the turn 1 and 2. Meanwhile, up front, Janjanin up to the 8th spot around Huntoon as they all look in the chase to top 2 cars that have opened up a decent gap over himself and Josh Cole. Cole holds on to that third spot, but he is under fire by McRae and Gable.
Yeah, nearly 9/10 of a second separating Josh Cole from our top two here as JJ McRae is going to try to take a look to the inside. McRae working that second lane there right along the dash lines in 3 and 4. A little bit of an advantage there to the 77. He's starting to pull ahead. He's actually going to get clear of Cole. He's going to slot up in front of him here going down the back straightaway. Cole looked like he thought about going to the inside for a moment, but now he's just going to try to hold off Adam Gable. Gable now trying to take a peek to the inside of that 09 machine.
Gable with a good run to the inside there, and here comes Gary Eschen with his run back towards the front as Gable will move underneath the number 9 of Cole. Justin Coleman working the outside, and he went 93 laps on that tank of fuel. So with everybody coming down here in this last pit stop, I believe we should be close to go to the end here, but we did have a lot of yellow flags. Will the green flag racing play into the pit strategy? Gary Eschen to the inside. He says, well, you guys are going to run the outside. I'll go where you're not. Eschen to the middle of the racetrack, and he is making some ground there and bringing the 12 of Huntoon with him as well. In the turn 3 there, they will roll. The 41 of Coleman drops to the middle lane. That allows Janjanin to the outside. Look at Janjanin go up 14 spots here early on, or in the later stages of the SoCal Showdown. And Janjanin running really well in car number 2 as he works there up, trying to bid for a top 5.
Yeah, trying to get himself up into the top 5, but it is a 3-wide battle between himself, Coleman, and Huntoon here, as Huntoon going to have to be is forced to drop back a little bit of contact between the 41 and the 2, and that caused the 41 of Coleman to check up, and now Huntoon going to send it up the inside, as now Scott Negus was trying to take a peek to the inside of Coleman. And then because of Huntoon sliding up in there, he was forced to drop back, and Coleman, though, going to hold on to the spot. Now Negus trying to see if he can make a move around the outside of the 12 Huntoon.
Huntoon working the inside, will hold on to that spot, and everybody gets single filed out as Bryan Hacker still applies pressure to the number 5 of Scott Austin here in the opening race of the season for the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Series as they work around the Irwindale Speedway. What has been a fantastic race. Dylan Connor has stalled out there around the 12th position as he tries to make his bid from the back of the pack. If you're just joining us, the number 90 had led the first 90 laps, had to come down while green flag was there, was saved by a yellow flag as Atkinson in the 72 went around to bring out a yellow flag, and that trapped him down 1 lap. Everyone else pitted, got a wave round, and now Connor looking for a top 10 run back towards the front of this one, as it is very elbows up physical racing here at Irwindale, here with lap 123 closing in on 50 laps to go in the season opener.
Yeah, we're getting close. Oh, contact with the 20 and the 90. Oh, Dylan Connor, a hard shot to the door. And a few cars involved there, as that is going to bring out another caution. Dylan Connor going to get it rolling again. He's trying to check the handling of that car, but he took a hard shot to the driver's side door.
It looked like it came off of the corner. I believe the 20 of MacDuff involved as well. Let's take a look back here and see. It looks like they came off the corner, and we see it there. MacDuff was already in trouble. And let's see back here. We'll go back a little bit further. They came off the corner 3 wide. MacDuff got loose down to the 54 of Elvis, and then just got swatting some bees there. Was the 20 of MacDuff, and then got the 90. So looks like everyone able to keep it rolling, but some heavy right front damage to the 20, and they gotta wonder how much damage is to the 90 of Connor as well. And look at
it. Looks like Everyone's coming down pit road this time.
Just get about ready to say that, except for Dylan Connor. He's going to stay out along with Atkinson.
Yeah.
Atkinson going to get the wave around. We've had one lead change as we work our 6th caution flag of the evening. And at the time of this, it was Bryan Hacker was your race leader, but I think it's going to cycle through to Justin Coleman and Dylan Connor, who elect to stay out onto the racetrack, Kelly. And we know that they both made it around 90 laps on the opening tank of fuel.
Yeah, so it may be a little close with unless they get a couple more cautions. But the other question is, how damaged is the 90? That was a hard shot they took. But if it avoided damaging any of the axles of the car or any of the suspension, he might still be good.
And looking now, Bryan Hacker won the race off of pit road, but notice the right front fender on that number 2, folks. A lot of right front damage to Bryan Hacker's car. Adam Gable is 4th and Scott Austin 5. 6, J.J. McRae, Josh Cole is 7th, Gary Eschen, Dan Janjanin, and Ronnie Antune rounding out your top 10. All of this, of course, before we head into the mad plowing choose cone, and Hacker going to be the first car to go to the inside. So he'll draw even with a 41 of Coleman.
Yeah, and Hacker got that damage actually on pit road. He was a little bit too much to the inside of the 5, and when Scott Austin turned to go down into his pit box, he ended up clipping the front of Hacker.
So we'll have to see if that's going to affect how that car performs as they head into the restart zone. Green flag is up, and we are back underway. A nice start by Coleman. He's going to get clear of Bryan Hacker. Hacker going to be able to slot up in front of the 90 of Dylan Connor as he has to fend off the number 5 of Scott Austin. Austin keeping that 5 car relatively clean other than that contact you had just alluded to that happened on pit road. J.J. McRae hunts the bottom as he looks for a top 5 run on this restart. And Janjanin, very impressive here tonight in the opening run, Kelly, inside the top 10, and he is charging towards the front.
Yeah, Janjanin having a great run here, up 14 spots so far, and he can improve that here as he's been making some moves all throughout the night. Scott Austin now starting to slowly get ahead of that 90 of Dylan Connor. It looks like that hard impact has not affected the 90 too much, but it has been enough to cause him to lose a spot here to Scott Austin. They also could be attributed to the fresher tires. It's about 30 lap difference between the tires on Scott Austin and Dylan Connor, as Connor had elected to stay out, as a caution will fly once again.
And it looks like maybe Atkinson involved along with Sweeting, potentially. Chad Macleod involved. Let's take a look here and see what happens. Down in the corner. Oh, the 72 got on the back side, and then there's 3 wide action there. And I'm going to say that the 72 Xing out. Incident point limit reached. Let's go on board with the 72. Gets in there behind Campbell. Almost taps the back side of him, and this gets turned. And there's nowhere else where he could go. Tough break for the opening race for Brandon Atkinson. Rob Donaldson also down on pit road as we come back to some live views. Is Sweeting there? We got some takers on pit road. Brandon Elvis coming down. Look at the damage on that car along with Chuck Sweeting all coming down. The Last Chance Fuel pit stop here tonight.
So going to be coming around to who are... Oh, there's a problem for Gary Eschen. Apparently he has some hardware issues here. He's having issues with his monitor. He is stuck on the grass in turn 2. That car has now been moved to the safety of pit road, but an unfortunate development there for Gary Eschen, who had been having a fairly strong night tonight.
Yeah, Gary was back and forth in a tough break for the 23. Not the way you want to start this campaign. It is the Mad Choose Cone out there, the Mad Plowing Choose Cone here tonight. Number 2, a Bryan Hacker, going to choose to be the first car to the inside. We know Coleman able to stretch the fuel fairly long in that first opening stint as the pace truck pulls down into the infield. As our 7th yellow flag will get furloughed, as the green flag back up. And we are back underway. A little bit of bumper tag on that restart.
Yeah, a few drivers trying to jump the start there, and that caused a bit of a bottleneck, which caused a few drivers to get into each other. I don't think anyone's got too heavy of damage. At least no cars seem to have gone around, so green will stay out for now. Bryan Hacker going to slot up in front of Scott Austin. Dylan Connor going to move himself into 4th, as there is a battle right behind him between Gable and Cole. And just behind them, McRae and Janjanin going at it. Oh, a bit of contact between McRae and Janjanin. Those drivers able to maintain control, get themselves sorted out as they make contact again coming off of turn 4.
Those drivers swapping some black paint on black paint as they work off the corner. Gable to the outside around Cole. He works to the inside. That's the battle that will be your eyes on the screen. Cole down in that 09 car, having a fantastic opening run in the Mortensen Auto Repair Late Model Stock Tour right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Gable works the outside, and how about the 55? One car sideways. That would be the 36 of Troyer, and I'm going to just go ahead and give him the save of the race, Kelly.
And a big slide from Troyer after making contact with the 54, able to keep it off the inside wall, and then it tried to snap him towards the outside, and he was able to slow that car up before making contact. As we got to go back to the battle between Cole, Gable, and McRae, as McRae went 3 wide down the bottom. Gable having to back off. He's going to be alongside Janjanin now, as McRae goes after Cole, trying to get himself into that top 5 spot. Everyone battling it out here as the laps tick down towards the end of this race.
And that time, Janjanin into the back bumper of the 77, got him a little bit free up off the corner. More bumper tag. Oh, and Cole hard in the outside retaining wall for the 09, and that is going to be disastrous. And what a heartbreak for Josh Cole, who was having a fantastic run here tonight. Has to bring the car down pit road after getting tabbed in the back bumper in the 09 of Cole on the pit road. Tough break for the driver of the 09.
Yeah, that is going to take him out of contention here for the night. But the battle still rages on for that top 5 spot. Janjanin holding on to 6 right now as he tries to chase down McRae. Just behind them, it is Scott Negus against Adam Gable, side by side for 7th place. Right behind them, it is Huntoon and MacDuff, and then Braiden Campbell getting involved as well. He's trying to stick his nose in there, trying to see if there's an opportunity for him. He looked like he was trying to think about going up the middle for a second, then wisely backed out. But as we get towards the end of the race, I think we're going to see some drivers make some desperate moves. Negus, though, he's going to get himself ahead of Gable, going to slide up in front of that 91 car. So smooth Scott Negus up into 7th.
Negus trying to make his run towards the front of this one, and you see right there as we track your Arbor Tree hard charger of the race, and right now Janjanin has it with 15 spots gained here tonight, as he's still not done, and Janjanin looking to go underneath the 77 of McRae, can't quite do it there. For the Arbor Systems hard charger on the line. Meanwhile, up front, Bryan Hacker unable to do anything with Coleman. Is Scott Austin right there as well. Connor runs in the 4th, and JJ McRae rounds out your top 5, and 25 circuits left to go in the season opener here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Looks like JJ McCrae is taking a peek to the inside of Dylan Connor, but he's got to be careful. Each time he makes one of these moves and backs out, Dan Janjanin is getting a little bit closer. McCrae really trying to push for that inside run alongside Connor, as Connor is definitely a little bit slower after taking that damage, but still able to roll the outside line well. And now here comes Janjanin. He senses his opportunity as McCrae made one attempt too many, but McCrae holds off on the high side. Janjanin has to back out and get himself back into that high line because here comes Scott Negus.
Negus right to the bottom side now underneath Janjanin. That's the battle for the 6th position. Negus on the charge. He runs the bottom side of the speedway. Janjanin rim rides around the outside. He'll hold on to the spot for now. Negus on the attack, though, trying to move the 55 up towards more towards the top 5 as they look to chase theirs. Now McCrae takes a peek to the inside. That's the battle for the 4th spot. JJ McCrae trying to get around Dylan Connor as they start to see the top 3 nose away as they have broken out about 2 seconds over to Miss Hacker. Took a peek that time, unable to do anything. We watched this battle, though, between Janjanin, McCrae, and Negus. That is the best battle on the racetrack. They work off the corner. Negus still works that bottom side of the raceway, trying to make something happen. Janjanin up into the marble, scrapes the outside wall. Does that open the door for the 55 of Negus?
Negus trying to get himself there. He's alongside Janjanin as Janjanin goes right up against the wall. Cannot quite find enough speed up there as he is still trying to hold off the 55 of Negus. JJ McCrae closing right in on the bumper of the 90 of Dylan Connor, but has not found his opportunity to make the pass yet. Each time he tries to make the move to the inside, Connor just gets a better run off of the high side. I think McCrae needs to really dive it down there on the bottom, and I mean going all the way down in 3 and 4. This time he got his nose to the door of the 90, but just could not quite hold enough speed coming off the corner. So McCrae really just needs to make the move in the corner and get himself in front of Connor before Connor can roll that momentum on the high side.
Oh, a little bit of contact there. Is that what they need as Connor goes up the racetrack? McCrae to the inside, was unable to do anything, gave the space. How about a nice little courtesy tip to the hat to the 77 of McCrae? Got into the left door panel, allowed the 90 to gather it back up. Does it once again as Connor really pinching the 77 down, trying to break the momentum. More contact in the corner. McCrae into the outside, or Connor into the outside wall. Janjanin spins to the inside. A tough break for the driver of the number 2.
Yeah, Dan Janjanin was probably having one of his best races ever as he was just caught out by Dylan Connor. And I think Dylan Connor may have hit his incident limit because he is off of the racetrack. And that means the 90 car is out of this race. That puts JJ McCrae up into 4th. And he is now going to have to hold off Scott Negus here to hang on to 4th place. Bryan Hacker, though, still up at the front of the field right behind Justin Coleman, who continues to lead this race. Hacker was pretty much on the bumper of Coleman for the last few laps, but now Coleman has started to open up a gap, and now Scott Austin is closing in on Bryan Hacker, and he's starting to maybe take a look to the inside.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Bryan Hacker got those tires hot now, running there, trying to cool those back off with 12 laps to go for a final maybe effort to win this one on the season opener. Bryan Hacker runs there in spot number 2, but Justin Coleman out front with that 41, trying to make it happen. I believe this is his first start with the North-South Racing League. What did that be a start? Going to victory lane.
And Coleman looking to start his first race here with the North-South Racing League with his first win here, as it has definitely been an eventful one for him, as it looked like he was completely out of it, having to come down pit road under green and then saved by a caution. And now he is fighting back here. trying to make these tires last. I mean, Bryan Hacker came down pit road in lap 126. Coleman was last down on lap 97, so a huge difference in tires, but Coleman is making them last, and he is still opening up that gap over Hacker. Hacker may have burned off his tires attempting to pass Coleman those last few laps, and now the opportunity may be for Justin Coleman to just cruise off to a win.
And that they are, as Hacker's fallen off a little bit more. 8 laps to go. The question is, does the 41 have enough fuel in the tank? Last on pit road, lap 97. We know Hacker and Austin should be good to go, but Coleman does with a little bit of breathing space. Can he save enough fuel? That is the question here at the Irwindale Speedway as Coleman rolls through turns 3 and 4. He'll come to the line. 6 laps to go as Hacker's car starting to back up. Does that as Austin trying to get by him. Austin's going to have to dispatch of the two as fast as possible as time is running out.
Yeah, there's also the possibility that Hacker just lets him go with those two working together most nights, but it seems like Hacker is going to defend here, so this is not going to be easy for Scott Austin. He has to really hope to make the move right now and then maybe have a mistake out of Justin Coleman to even have an opportunity to take this, because that gap has opened up to almost 3/4 of a second now.
Absolutely has. Coleman stretching it out. 4 laps to go. All eyes are whether that car will spit or sputter as Hacker and Austin battle it for the runner-up position, but Coleman will see 3 laps to go, this time off of turn number 4. 3 to go at the Irwindale Speedway. Down the back stretch, Coleman leads it, working in the turns 3 and 4. Popsicle sticks are up. 2 laps to go for Justin Coleman in the season opener.
A little bit behind them, the battle is still between JJ McRae and Scott Negus. McRae just holding on to the high side. Negus taking a look to the bottom. Looks like Gable and MacDuff are battling it out as well, but it is all Justin Coleman at the front of the field. 1 lap to go for the 41, and there is no one even close. He has got 7/10 to Bryan Hacker as Hacker has to hold off Scott Austin.
Final trip into turns 3 and 4 in NSRL history. This driver, Justin Coleman, first start of his career, is victorious here at Irwindale. The SoCal Showdown goes to Justin Coleman, 1 for 1 in his NSRL starts. Bryan Hacker comes home second, Scott Austin in third. JJ McRae and Scott Negus rounding out your top 5. Justin MacDuff rallies back for a 6th spot. Braiden Campbell, Adam Gable, Rodney Huntoon, and Chuck Sweeting will round out your top 10. A fantastic race here tonight as Coleman will go to victory lane.
Yeah, fantastic run from Justin Coleman. Really making it work for him and having a few things fall his way, but that it was a great last run from him. I thought he was going to be a sitting duck for the fresher tires of Bryan Hacker, but that was just not the case.
No, and you got to wonder, did that damage on the right front really hurt the efforts for Bryan Hacker? Here tonight. We will have to talk to him in our post-race show coming right up here tonight as we head down trackside to get a word with our race winner, the driver of the number 41, as we enter our post-race show presented by Sim Racer Hub, the place where leagues go to keep it together. SimRacerHub.com. From stats, schedules, all you need to know about a league, you can head on over to SimRacerHub.com, the place where the North-South Racing League keeps it together. As we are looking here for Justin Coleman, and there he is climbing out of the car. Had a good swig of water, and Justin, man, they didn't make it easy on you, but congratulations. First career start with the North-South Racing League, and it ends up in victory lane. How'd you get it done?
True, man. A lot of patience. These guys ain't no joke. Coming into this, I didn't know what to expect, but everybody here is really fast and really clean. Everybody gives everybody good respect. So I just had to stay patient. And that last caution, the last time everybody came through the pits, I was like, man, my car feels pretty good. I said, I'm just going to stay out for track position. And man, it just fell my way. The car was still had tires underneath it. So just a good pit call, I guess, by not coming into the pits.
You kind of got saved by that yellow flag there on lap 97. Talk about that. We know you are headed to pit road to pit. We saw Dylan Connor have to come down during green flag pit stops. That yellow flag, would you say it probably saved the race for you?
Yes, it 100% did. So everybody came down pit road first to get fuel, I guess. And I was like, we'll get another caution. I'm going to get some track position and, try to run up front a little bit. And I'll be danged if it didn't stay green. And I had one lap till empty, and I was pulling into pit lane, and the caution came out. And I was like, well, there's my saving grace, I guess. So I just cruised on through and got back with the pack, so I didn't go a lap down. So, yeah, that caution definitely saved my hind end.
Well, I mean, you had a great race here tonight, and you're going to come home victorious. Now, I know you're new to the NSRL. Next week, you're going to have to start shotgun, but you probably wouldn't trade that for the win, would you?
Oh, absolutely not. I'd trade that for a win any day. So that'll be fine. These races are pretty long, so as long as we just keep our head on tight and be patient and work our way through, we should be okay.
I believe you will be. We're going to be headed to Hickory, so from one side of the country to the next. But it'd be good there, man. But congratulations, first career start. You guys, you put these veterans on notice that you guys come in here, with some speed there, and like you said, the racing out there very fierce. A lot of really tight racing at Irwindale. And now we're going to head to a tricky short track of Hickory, I believe, next week.
Yes, sir. The tricky Hickory. I like that place, though. It's a fun track to race at.
Well, congratulations on the win. We'll roll the red carpet out. Who makes it all possible for this 41 car to be in victory lane?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the guys that put on this league. I'm new here, so I don't know everybody, but everybody involved in this, the admins and the league owner and everybody, so appreciate them and letting me come in and race. Thank y'all for broadcasting. Y'all do. I don't know that I've ever watched any of y'all stuff, but I'm sure y'all do a great job, and I'm looking forward to watching it back. Thank my teammate Brandon Elvis for all the help he does for me and my driving and giving me tips and pointers and stuff. Coastal Performance, Gibbs Brothers Construction, Parker Brothers Window Tinting, BH Homes Construction, Barry Elvis Performance and Fabrication, Coleman Design. That'd be about it. Just everybody that helps out.
Well, congratulations, sir, once again. We look forward to seeing this 41 car in action next week as we head to Hickory. Congratulations. Enjoy this one. Don't party too hard.
I'll try not to. I appreciate it a lot.
There you go. Tonight's winner in his first career start, Justin Coleman, going to go to victory lane here with the North-South Racing League, and a driver that this was not his first start will round up in second, but a valiant recovery, and I believe you are standing by with that driver, Kelly.
Yeah, catching up now with Bryan Hacker. And Bryan, it looked like a very hectic race for you tonight. At one point, having to go from the back of the field all the way to the front. What was it like trying to make all those moves here?
It was not fun. Apparently I sped, but I didn't think I sped. I came out of the pits and felt pretty good about where I was at from a track position standpoint, and then was shown the black flag. So I must have at some point stepped over the line of speeding on pit road, but it made for an interesting race, that's for sure. It seemed like all my drama was on pit road. I didn't realize you could actually make contact on pit road, and Scott and I were coming into our pit stalls at the same time and contacted one another, and gave me the damage on the right front, which is hilarious that the only damage I got in the race was on pit road, and that's ultimately what changed the course of our night. I just couldn't get the car to turn the same way I could before that. So, but at the end of the day, it's a second place finish, and we will take those every day.
Well, as a solid second place finish here to start off the championship. Looking through the schedule, though, is it looking like a schedule that will really help you towards another championship here in the NSRL?
Yes and no. A couple of my better tracks are off the schedule this season, and a couple of the tracks that maybe I'm not as good at are on the schedule. So that being said, I think we will probably bring at least decent speed to every track, and hopefully the real life schedule and work schedule and sim schedule all play nice with one another, and we can make as many races as we can this year.
All right, well, a good solid second place finish for you here tonight. Before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your run?
Yeah, as always, Scott Austin Designs. Cool for both of us to be on the podium. He was definitely a little bit quicker there that last run. Was holding them off, not intentionally, but just kind of the way that it worked out with how hard it is to pass. Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, Boulder Beer Bar, the league admins for putting this thing on. We've got pretty good car counts. Cool to see a guy like Justin Coleman come in here and get a win on his first night, and got a couple other rookies this year that I think will be pretty strong. You guys for coming aboard and doing this, and Al for doing his best Tony Laporta impression, and also big thanks to Arbor Systems of Madison for coming aboard, Mortensen Auto Repair, Mad Plowing, all the guys that help out to make this possible. We wouldn't be here without those guys.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Brian. Hopefully we'll hear from you in 1 week's time.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Kelly.
All right, so Bryan Hacker, a very eventful race from him. As mentioned, caught speeding on pit road. It dropped him to the back of the field, but he still managed to charge all the way back for a second place finish, just ahead of his teammate, Scott Austin, who is now catching up with Al.
Yeah, standing by here with the driver of the number 5, who the car looks fairly clean out there, Scott, but you look a little worn out after 175 laps. We know Irwindale, a very demanding racetrack. How demanding was this one?
Yeah, it got hot in here, but it was good. It was a long night, but we were able to hopefully stay up front most of the night. So we really had to work it for us one time there, but we were able to move back up through and then kind of ride as much as we could up front there. Led some laps, so that was able to take it easy. But all in all, at the end there, we were giving it everything we got. Props to Justin for pulling out that win. We were really just waiting for a mistake, sharks in the water, and he just really never made not but one. But so congrats to him. It was a good win and a good night for us overall.
Do you think if you could have got around the number 2 of Hacker, you would have had the pace? We know that he got a little bit of damage on pit road there. Didn't it seem to affect your car as much as it did Brian's car? Do you think if you would have able to get around him, you would have had a better chance of running down Coleman, or do you think Justin just hit the strategy correct here tonight?
It's tough to say. I mean, the thing on pit row is really unfortunate. It's kind of a fluke. There's usually no damage or anything, any contact able to be even had on pit road. So whatever happened there was kind of just a glitch, and kind of worked against us, unfortunately. So I think if I maybe could have got around Brian early enough, I think I probably did have something for him. I really would have had to work for it, but I felt really, really fresh there at the end, and I don't think he did. But all in all, I think racing for second place would have allowed him to kind of scurry away, and I think it was probably best that we both try to get first rather than let him walk away with it. So that was the plan we chose. Still happy with the second and the third place for the both of us. So overall, good night.
Yeah, very good night here at Irwindale. And then we'll head out to Hickory next week. We go from a very fast, difficult, technical raceway to a very high-banked short track where you got to be more elbows up here. What kind of expectation you think we'll see out of the 5 next week?
I hope more of the same. Hickory's probably one of my favorite racetracks we go to. Favorite racetracks on the sim. It's tight, it's bumpy, it's technical. Same thing, it's elbows up and it gets hot. So it's right in our wheelhouse. We'll hopefully do the exact same thing this next week.
Well, Scott, who makes it all possible for this 5-car to be here in the simracerhub.com post-race show?
Yeah, first and foremost, the league, just for putting it on. It's cool going back to the late models. I'm excited about that. Obviously shows we got a pretty good car count tonight, and hopefully that stays put. There's quite a few registered that weren't able to make it tonight too, so hopefully things will only still get better yet. A couple of teammates, Brian, Justin came back and ran with us tonight. He hasn't ran quite a while, so it was good to have him back. Papa Austin watching at home. Always cool to kind of talk through the race next day. You guys are putting on an awesome broadcast. I enjoy going back and watching and learning from other people's mistakes and things like that. So overall, good night. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate it.
All right, Scott Austin going to come home 3rd place. We'll see you in Hickory in 1 week's time.
Thanks, you guys. Take it easy.
So, Kelly, just like that, week number 1 in the books. We saw a lot of physical racing. We saw a lot of great racing. I'm really excited for the late model stock series to be back in action here on the Turn 3 Racing Network for the North-South Racing League.
Yeah, fantastic race here tonight, but that's also just the case of Irwindale. Irwindale seems to always put on a show no matter what cars we put on it, and it's just a fantastic racetrack that we are sorely going to miss in the real world, but thankfully it still gets to live on here in the simulator and keep putting on shows like the one it did tonight, but hopefully the rest of this season, the late model stock, will be just as exciting as the race we had here tonight at Irwindale.
Absolutely. As we get ready to go here tonight, we want to thank all of our sponsors here tonight for the North-South Racing League's Late Model Stock Series, presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. Mortensen Auto Repair partners with Bumper to Bumper Network to provide comprehensive auto services on basic maintenance and complex repairs. Kyle and his team provide efficient, kind, and reasonably priced service to the residents of Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and the surrounding communities. Call them today at 608-455-3621 to schedule an appointment. Want your league to look great? Contact Robbie at RC2 Graphics Solutions, where he makes your events come to life with their designs. RC2 Graphics Solutions, your events, our designs. ZooFab Garage, the official tune-up shop for these race cars. They get repaired at Mortensen's, but ZooFab Garage makes them fast here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. SimRacerHub.com, where leagues keep it organized. Arbor Systems provides residential and commercial tree removal, pruning, and plant care services in Madison and surrounding areas. Since 2001, Arbor Systems has helped residential and commercial properties with their tree service needs. We specialize in pruning, removal, grinding, emergency tree work, cabling, and bracing, and the overall care of trees. Call Chris today at 608-575-5210 to get started. J&D Farms, the top 8 redraw. We thank them for being an absolute legend in the North-South Racing League. Mad Plowing out of Oregon, Wisconsin. We can't thank them enough for what they do. Spring is coming, folks. Hopefully we don't need to call them for snow, but if you do, they do that as well, along with landscaping in the Oregon-Wisconsin area. Whether it's cleaning your driveway or keeping your lawn looking pristine, they've got you covered. Call them today at 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping needs. Well, Kelly, another great season. What else could we have asked for in round number 1? Next week, we head to Hickory for another short track bout.
And Hickory should put on a great show as well. And a good full schedule here we have got. It is a full 10 race schedule. Yeah, 10 race schedule, and I think there is a couple of drops to be factored in as well. So it'll be a tight points battle throughout the whole season. But surprisingly, it is a rookie that is going to be leaving here the first race of the season with the championship lead. We'll have to keep an eye on Justin Coleman and see if he's able to continue this momentum through the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I'm going to unofficially say that a first-time starter in NSRL history had never gone to victory lane on their first start here. As we look at your final results up on the screen to see where your favorite driver finished, but that's something, put an asterisk next to it. We'll have to ask the statisticians and historians of the North-South Racing League. But as far as I can remember, for all the years of being involved here, I don't believe anyone has come in on opening night of a season and gone to victory lane in their first start. So a tip of the hat. And not only that, Justin Coleman is your Arbor Systems hard charger of the race, going 12 plus here tonight. So good night there with that. But until next week, Kelly, we hope you keep it wheels down. Hope you see it in turn 3. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you don't already to get notification every time we go live here with the North-South Racing League Mortensen's Auto Repair Late Model Stock Series. Until next week, for Kelly Dahl, I am Upstate Al. We hope to have you here next week. Good night, everybody.